Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Doc.
One Doc.
It's your girl, BD.
It's Foreign's the fiance.
And we're back.
We back. It's episode 2.
Episode 2
of
The House of Hammer.
Yeah. This whole documentary could have been... I don't know what it could have been, but it just
This
wasn't...
meeting could have been an email.
Yeah, literally. It just wasn't given what it was supposed to have gave. Like... I just, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
Let's get into it. Yeah.
Let's get into it.
So basically, we left the last episode where we learned that Julian Hammer had killed someone and he'd shot his friend. Basically, that's the person. And we get this story about how Julian's friend comes to the house and they start arguing, and it's over a gambling debt. I think Julian owed the money. Julian.
Did he? No, I
don't
think the other guy owed him.
I wasn't sure. I
think the other guy owed it. It was like
clear.
$400, which sounds like nothing, but back then I think it's probably a lot more than $400.
Julian didn't need that money.
Yeah, and also it's not enough. Like, what amount of money is enough to be shooting people on sight?
I mean, I guess, because if you shoot that person,
For a millionaire,
you're going to get it back. But yeah. So basically, they get into an argument, and as we've already discussed, Julian's MO was to pick up his gun when he felt intimidated
100%.
or he was angry. So he grabbed the Glock. It was not Glock.
Not the Glock.
Shotgun.
He had a shotgun, actually. That was his device of choice, weapon of choice.
So he grabbed that and he shot his friend, and it was all over the news. And Armand gets a call.
And he dies, right? The guy dies.
Yeah, the guy dies. So Armand gets a call and he basically sends $50,000 in cash.
And imagine how much that is now. Because that was $50,000 then.
I've always wanted to just have a large sum of money, put it on a bed and roll around naked.
Yeah. Amen. See, that's a fantasy that's acceptable.
Exactly.
Wanting to rape someone, that is not an acceptable fantasy.
No, that is not acceptable. So they send this money to the lawyer, and basically, Julian just gets off scot-free.
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens. I don't know what level of bribery, and that is bribery and corruption.
Because how do you spin it? Because it's one thing to be, it's one thing to be bribed, yeah. But then when everyone knows that he's killed someone,
and it's one thing to be corrupted.
Right. How can you justify then not prosecuting without exposing the fact that you were bribed?
Bro. So it was self-defense, they said, but okay.
No comment.
So we learned that this whole family's just doing illegal shit. Julian is literally illegally recording conversations his father is having with really, really big people. There was one that was the president of was it Venezuela? There was one where it was I think with the president of Venezuela.
Oh yeah, that he bribed.
Yeah, and then he has recordings because basically it's cool. I've got these illegal recordings. Tomorrow, if you try any shit, I'm gonna pull out these recordings.
It's I always have leverage,
bro. Just evil. So we also learned that Armand had a dark history. His dad Julius Hammer was an agent for the KGB and a communist. And it's obviously I know the KGB exists and so did communism and all of that, but it's just whenever I think of this, I just think of Archer and all these KGB agents.
You're this isn't even real. This is the cartoon.
This isn't even real. Y'all are just cracking jokes.
Stop playing.
Stop playing. And basically he was funneling money for Russians. He was feeding information to the Russians as well. And he was trying to perpetrate communist
that's crazy
ideology in it's wild.
How could every generation thus far, as far as the eye can see, as far as we can go back,
dodgy,
there's been some bullshit.
But it's just weird to me that with this history, Armand was allowed to prosper. But to be honest, I think the backbone of America is just corruption and money. They don't care about your morals or this or that. It's just, do you have money? Cool. Let's get it cracking.
It wasn't even their land really when they came here. So
okay,
that's the very beginning. I say thing. Here, there.
That's even a whole other podcast episode.
Mm-hmm.
So when Armand came to the USA, so we talked about him having 3 wives. In total.
And then the mistress, he was 2 women, but the same woman.
That was two in one.
2 for the price of 1. 1 for the price of 2.
So his first wife, Olga, was Russian. And that's the father of Julian. And basically, for a long time, Armand was trying to distance himself from his kind of that past, the Russian past, because he wanted to come to the US, make a lot of money, be kind of just an all-American rich
American
guy.
dream.
Yeah. So because he was trying to distance himself, he also distanced himself from his son, and this is where we start to see the issues Julian had with Armand, like the genesis of the issues. There was a point where he asked for a paternity test. It took him a really long time to bring Julian over. Also took him a long time to accept him. Like, it was just weird because he wasn't in line with what Armand wanted his life to look like.
Yeah. Also, can we go back 1 second? Because they talk about how they named him Armand. And they say that basically on the Soviet flag or some shit, like there's a symbol which is the arm and hammer. And so they named him Armand, as in arm and then his surname is Hammer. And I said, wait a damn minute. Why would you do that? Here's me thinking Armand is some like, you know,
I thought it was like
a
Russian
regal
old
kind of name. And it's just honestly like names are made up. So when people like shame people for having whatever names, I mean, I'm guilty too. A name is just a series of letters put together by someone. If enough people have that name, if it becomes common enough, it's going to seem normal.
They've got two Armands in their family. And
they have two of them.
If Army Hammer names his kid Armand, then this is just something.
3. And then someone, now he's a celebrity, someone might see Armand and now their son is called Armand, not knowing that it's literally just Arm and Hammer, like the toothpaste. Yeah,
it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, do you, but boy, do better.
So there's just a lot of messed up stuff going on in this family. Casey says that one day when she went back to visit her dad, which again, we'll come back to this. Okay, so Casey says when she goes back to visit her dad, she sees her dad, which is Julian, offer her brother Michael, who is Army's dad. So hopefully you followed that.
You with us?
Yeah, you with us. Cool. So witnessed her dad offer her brother $1 million for his girlfriend, and then it erupts into a fight. And then conveniently, the girlfriend goes back with Julian, but under the guise of like wanting to calm him down. She
said, "Why am I going to be with you and I can go to the source of the money?"
As in,
but also even think about the age difference. It's just very much like, okay, this is actually a bit disgusting.
Yeah.
And to pay, you're like offering just like, it's nothing sacred.
Yeah, it's nothing sacred. Sorry guys, if you can hear typing, I am recording in the office and my mom is typing. So yeah,
that's fine. They've been here long enough. They're used to this.
So Michael gets hired at oxycodone, and sees this as an opportunity to kind of like stick it to his dad, like Sally Stickwell. Stick it to the voice.
Is that Arrested Development?
Everything leads back to the office.
It's like Arrested Development is this, but like comedic side, and then Succession is this, but like for real.
Yeah. So like he wants to stick it to his dad. So basically, he's like, bro, I'm gonna like be everything you're not, and Grandpa is gonna love me.
Grandpa fucks with me. He doesn't fuck with you.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna be his bestie. He's gonna love me, and you. Yeah, you're gonna love me.
Yeah. So I love that, Dream Girls. Yeah.
I did it for you.
Thanks. And so Michael is kind of seen as the chosen one, which is actually crazy. Like you have a kid, but for you to bypass the child and then choose their child. And then the reason that you bypass
that child is because they're half Russian, but you laid down with the Russian woman
to make
him. So what? But then
also at the same time though, I also feel like just Julian was not a serious candidate in any shape of the way.
Oh yeah, 100%. But I do think that like, had his childhood been better, like kids can feel rejection. So it's like obviously he didn't feel, and I'm not even excusing his behavior, absolutely not. But like it makes sense why he doesn't fuck with his dad, and his dad didn't fuck with him, so now he doesn't fuck with his dad.
Yeah,
and Michael was just a way to be like, oh yay, so happy that like I have a man I can actually give like past the a male heir that I can pass
everything
things down to. Yeah, he's like the only option.
Yeah. So so Casey actually does say that her family was like Succession, like she couldn't even finish the show because it was just like, this is what my family
triggering.
It's like everybody like brown nosing each other, but they all hate each other.
She's like, I know what happens, I don't need to watch this, I'm living
I know how it ends. Yeah. So Michael meets Drew, who's Army's mother, and she's like deeply religious and wealthy. So for Armand, this is like what he's always wanted. Like
also he spells Drew like Drew Hill.
Yeah. Which is weird.
Like that. Come on.
Yeah, it's a bit ghetto. Like not ghetto, but it's a bit, a
bit flavour.
Yeah, black
bit
with
spice.
QUE. Yeah.
But
yeah. So she's deeply religious. She's wealthy, and this is everything Armand wanted. Like this is his dream.
And
like,
religious is in Christian.
Yes.
And bearing in mind the Hammers have been Jewish. Like I think Armand and all them lots were Jewish.
Yeah. So Armand dies, basically, and like he's still on his deathbed.
The way he dropped it.
Because let's like wrap it up then.
Also, no, but back to Michael and Drew. He's cheating. He's been cheating on her. Stays cheating on her. He's just been cheating even before they get married. That's his fiance. People are like, oh, but haven't you got a fiance? And he's like, yeah, she's just not coming out tonight. But he's out here cheating. He's out. And Army's born, and he's just mad spoiled.
Yeah. And so like Armand dies, and then
he's Michael's 92. Why did the evil live for so long?
I don't know. Honestly, I really don't know. But Michael is looting the house whilst his granddad's body is still on the bed. Like literally, guys. Literally, has his spirit even fully like left the body? Like
he's up there watching.
It's actually insane.
It's egregious, is what it is.
Nah, that is scary. But what more could you ever know to know? Like, what more could you need to know that you were never loved? You were just seen as like a means to an end. For people to be looting when you are literally like your
spirit has you with the vans.
Literally only like up onto your waist has your death downloaded.
You're
like
still rigor mortis hasn't even kicked in yet.
Right, from legs down, you're still warm, and they are looting. Crazy. So it gets time to read the will, and Casey says she comes back for the will reading. So it's her, Drew, Michael, her dad, and basically when the will gets read, over 90% of the will is of Armand's like shares, properties, whatever gets left to Michael, and then his dad gets like 500,000 and Drew gets like 250,000.
No, Casey gets 250K.
Casey gets 250K, and then Drew and Michael get everything else, And then we learned that Armand only had like $40 million because he'd given away a lot of his money, but they don't like stipulate like how he's given away
where it went, because they thought he was a billionaire, but they only I say only, guys, this only is relative, please. There's only 40 million left, and so like I'm a broke bitch, so to me, if someone left me 250,000, I said great, maybe I can buy
cash down property.
Maybe I can buy a 1-bedroom apartment on zone 8 of London, but that's amazing compared to 40 million. They're like knowing what you could have gotten and the life you've been living. What's 250,000? Like, what is that? Like, why did you bother?
Like,
but if it was me, any of my ancestors, if you're planning to die, 250K, just fine for me. Thank you.
Oh man, forget it. I was watching this movie yesterday, and the woman dies, and her husband had been dead already. So her son dies, she dies, and like husband's dead, and he left some money for the son. So like my takeaway after was like, I was like to my mom, so where's that money gonna go? Like after all was
so everyone had died.
Everyone had died. And
there was no successors.
No, it wasn't like a lot of. I don't know if it was a lot of money, but whatever it was.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Yeah, and literally she was like, nah, like they'll try and find like the next relative. If not, then you just like it goes to the crown.
The crown.
Let me not say what I want to say before they deport me.
Honestly. But we here. We
see each other.
We see each other.
And the thing is, because I'm Nigerian and like I'm not like I guess not from this country, but do you know what I mean? Like my ancestors and whatever are from like Nigeria and stuff like that. So I just think to myself, I'm never going to get that knock on the door. Like I remember watching Air Hunters or something like that. They would knock on people's doors and be like, oh yeah, your great Aunt Liz just died and she left you like £50,000.
Yeah, that's never going to be my destiny.
It's never going to be me.
Yeah, it's a shame. But you know what? It could be your grandkids.
I can't emphasize how little fucks I give about what is going on with my grandkids. What about me, nigga? Like, I need that money now.
Listen, I fought my way out the trenches. You fight your way out too.
Okay, I have that.
No, I would like to be cushy for them. Every time I see your mum, I just want to cut my hair and go blonde again. That was a great era.
That is 50. Time. That's 50 plus auntie starter pack. Said she went to an event and there were 5 of them like that. I said yes. You always know when the aunties have reached that stage.
And it's the same kind of blonde as well.
Okay,
it's like they didn't tone it. They literally were just like blonde.
So if you want to join them, if you like, when you go to
like anyone's going to believe that I'm 50. Look at me. Okay. Look at this beautiful skin.
And so they checked to see when this will had been amended, and they realized it was like a month before Armand had died, and like Michael was
everything gets changed to Michael,
the witness or something like that. So he orchestrated this.
But then, does that mean, because they didn't even go into what the will was like before? Maybe they didn't know, they didn't have access to that information.
I'm sure he left more.
Maybe so I was thinking, is it that Michael was still the beneficiary and he finessed it so that he would get more, or is it that Julian was the beneficiary and then Michael?
I think Michael probably was, but he finessed it to get more.
So everyone else got less.
Yeah, but that's like, and he said that Casey was just collateral damage. And it's like, that's your sister.
That's your sister. That's what I was thinking. I was
if
like,
I'm scheming and scamming, I'm going to like make sure my sisters are good.
Exactly. My sister's eating. Like, if I'm getting 90% of 40 million, my sister is getting like half of that. Do you know, well, I'm older. You know how Nigerians do that thing. So maybe we'll do 60-40. But my sister's getting a substantial amount of that money.
She's going to be all right. She's going
to be more than fine. But for you to not even care about your sister. But then again, remember last episode we were talking about how Casey went with the mum and then Michael went with the dad. They probably didn't have a bond like that. They weren't in the same household. They weren't chilling. He basically just fucked all of Casey's friends. Like, it wasn't a thing where they were like boys. It didn't seem like it anyway.
Yeah. So Courtney basically ends the episode saying,
Army talked a lot about the evilness of the men in his family. His dad, his grandpa, his great-grandpa. But he didn't sound like he was ashamed of it. It's almost like it was badge of honor.
And then basically, like, there's this bit where she says when she goes to meet her mum, like, the mum was saying some stuff about, like, Army's dad, and then it's like, dun, 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 what's the stuff? Because it kind of alludes to, like, sexual assault. So that's the end of that episode.
Yeah, the producer asked her, like, oh, did your dad sexually assault you? And then, like, she's just looking at the camera.
Yeah, Casey, like that. Yeah. So that's the end of that episode, but not the end of our episode.
Dun, dun, dun.
So it starts with Casey again, and basically she's saying...
It's called Follow the Money, episode 3.
Yeah. So basically her friend is saying to her that, you know, you need to be safe. You're opening Pandora's box. Like, this is basically when she's agreed to do the documentary. Like, just watch where you're going. Look, watch who's talking to you.
Yeah,
watch
like,
who's following you.
Beware.
And it's like,
yeah,
aware. I get it, but they're not like the Yakuza. Like,
listen, you don't actually know. And this is the thing.
I guess I don't have enough money to know. Yeah.
Because what if...
Yeah. So Courtney's back and she's talking about her trauma from being with Army, and she reads an excerpt from her journal when she's on her way to rehab after, like, she's broken up with Army. And it's really sad. And she says,
It's 2:25 on the flight to rehab. Not sure why the fuck I'm going here. All I know is I don't give a fuck what happens to me. I don't want to die, I don't think, but I'm not trying not to. I don't see a way out of this one. I surrendered to him 100%. Gave him anything good I had left. What in the fuck is wrong with you? He used me in every way humanly possible for months, and I fucking let him. I feel absolutely numb and small and disgusting and ugly.
And that's crazy. I feel like there's more to this than which obviously we know there's more to it than she told us, but yeah, I definitely feel like there's a lot more than
I think her coming out and talking for the documentary is like a big step. I think she was also kind of like, I'm gonna do this as far as I'm comfortable. Like, I'm setting my boundaries even with you guys, the producers, so I'm gonna give what I'm okay to give, which I think is a smart thing to do.
Yeah, especially in a situation like this.
Yeah.
So while she's in rehab, she learns that Army has a new girlfriend, and when she looks her up, she's quite young and can see she has bruises. And the girl does, like, her pictures in this, like, weird, like, Tumblr, like, this is so cute, bruises kind of way. So she's basically thinking to herself, this is, like, problematic because he's probably doing to her what he did to me. I can recognize, like, the telltale signs. So now we meet Paige, and she is said girlfriend, and she says that Army was charming and all-consuming. Like, from the beginning, she was enamored with him.
And that's that love bombing again.
Yeah, that love bombing, right? He always had BDSM stuff and spoke a lot about cannibalism, but she kind of just, like, shrugged it off, which, no, don't, like, shrug it off.
Yeah, but then I think you just don't think anyone's serious. You just think, oh, okay, weirdo, like, haha.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess so.
You don't actually think he means eating flesh.
Yeah. Now we introduce another talking head, which I really like, but I wish we had her earlier because, like, at this point, some people probably did not follow this through to this, like, part of the documentary. But we meet Damiana. So we meet Damiana Chi, and her lower third is BDSM educator. And she basically says that Army specifically chose these kind of people who didn't have experience with BDSM because he wanted to prey on them, and because they don't understand the space, they don't understand what he's doing is wrong. Yeah, that in, like, these BDSM, like, relationships, safety and trust is, like, paramount, pivotal. Paramount. Both parties have to be consenting and happy and okay with what's going on,
at all times.
It's not right.
Yeah, and it's not BDSM.
Exactly. And Paige literally says that there was this time where he said to her, oh, where should I carve your initials? Like, she was tied up, and he carved her initials into her and licked the blood. And like, Damiana is like, this is wrong. Like, it's not, oh, can I do this? He's saying he's going to do it, and he proceeds to do it. So we meet like one of Army's ex co-workers, and he decides to be anonymous, which I understand, but it's like, at this point, anything you say, I doubt you're gonna be the one in trouble for it. Like, it would be Army, but I guess he just doesn't want any of Army's fans.
It's basically, it's like he doesn't understand. They call them the Charmies, which is like,
we're getting there. That I had a whole bit on that.
Fam.
So he says that he wasn't surprised by any of the allegations. Like, when he was working with Army, he experienced him being extremely aggressive and belittling him as an employee. So I get the impression that he's one of like the runners on like a film set or like something. An
assistant or something.
Yeah. So he asked him to go to the airport and hold up a sign that said the anti-gay F word, unless he'd be fired. Which obviously the guy's like, no, I'm not gonna do this. Like, I've got kids. I'm like
I'm not down to do that,
bro. Like, it's just like, even me, I'm a nobody, but I would not go out as any kind of thing, like, and hold a sign like that. Like, what are you actually doing? It's crazy. So there was another occasion where he said 10 a.m. on a work day, they were in a strip club. How much more cock in hand could you be?
But then also, not even cock in hand, you're unemployed. Don't you have a script to learn?
Fam.
Don't you have like scenes to go over? I don't understand.
Fam.
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Don't you have to recover from the long day of work you had before?
Fam. So
don't you have kids? Like, don't you have a house to clean? Don't you have lunches to make? I don't understand.
It's crazy. So he forces him to get a lap dance at a strip club, and like, he's just lording his position over him. And then after that, he's driving really fast, just really reckless and unsafe things, and not respecting people's boundaries.
Exactly. And that's the common thread here. Yeah,
literally. So back to Michael Hammer now, and Casey's basically saying Michael and Drew took complete control of Armand's estate, and a huge amount of money, and they used this money to fund Christian causes. This part was, I guess, just, it shows you the psyche, because basically at Armand's funeral, Drew's dad stood up and was like, and there were rabbis and everyone there, and he was like, apparently on his deathbed, Armand said, I like believe in Jesus Christ, and those words alone made him Christian, so we want Christian rites at the funeral. And it's like, bro, who are you?
And also they were like, he had was it a bar mitzvah
scheduled for the next
scheduled
day.
For no, which one is the male one? Bar mitzvah. He had a bar mitzvah scheduled for the week 2 weeks, I think, before he after he died, 2 weeks after he died. He was meant to have the bar mitzvah, and then he died.
But it's crazy. Like, why was his bar mitzvah so
that's
late?
What I don't know. But
you know, when you're getting closer to your deathbed, you become more religious. So maybe he was.
You just change religion. Like,
oh no, obviously the changing was a lie.
Oh, fine, yeah.
What I'm saying is, why was his own bar mitzvah so late? But I guess
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't know enough to even comment. But like, I think Michael is like this, and then when you go back and remember that a month before he died, the will was changed. It's like this whole thing was orchestrated. God is not going to let you into heaven after all of this, you know. Bro. You can shout Jesus from the rooftops,
bro. And Michael starts taking on this ultra religious persona, like this wholesome family man, super religious, whatever.
I'm a family man.
And we learned that like he has this sex throne with a meat hook.
This bit was
it was so random. They go into great detail about this throne.
It's just sensational, because what did this add to? Because we know that he's depraved. We know that already. What did this add to nothing?
Nothing.
They didn't even have a picture of the throne. Nothing.
Okay, so this description they were giving us meant nothing. So after Armand's death, Julian gives that journalist that followed Armand around during his life. Remember
Edward.
Episode 1, Edmund the journalist. And he gives him some personal documents to expose him. And from this, we learned that basically what we kind of already know, Armand was a master of bribery, which is how he built his company. He was also part of like the whole Watergate scandal. He hid illegal campaign contributions, which led him to pleading to a misdemeanor. So obviously, because he's pleaded guilty to this misdemeanor, he then wants to kind of, I guess, sort out his image in the public. So he becomes closer to Prince not the non-sweater. He becomes closer to Prince Charles and Princess Diana. But leave Lady Di out of this. Leave my mum's bestie out of this. I don't like them
honestly.
bringing her up. Like,
It's
leave
got
her
nothing to do
out
with
of this. Nothing. No parts of this. So he basically contributes to a lot of Charles's causes and all of this. And it's like, how much more contribution can that family need?
Yeah, like
Is
what
our tax
is it
money
that you're
not
trying, like
enough?
what are you saving for? Like for me, if you contribute to me, I'm saving for a house. I just want somewhere to live. Do you know what I mean? That's where the money's going. These man, they have a palace. What are you contributing towards that? How much do they need? Like, is there not a limit? Is their Monzo pot not full? I don't understand.
Literally max cap. Anyways, it's 1991, and Casey says after Arman has died, she moved in with her father, who was out of control. He was on all sorts of drugs, and he would wake her up in the morning with a gun.
Mate,
like, sis, what we and this is
and
what
look
I was
into
gonna
her
say.
eyes and say, I can see if you're possessed.
This was gonna say, like, her mum. Why did obviously at this point she's an adult, but before that, why did her mum let her go back on weekends and visit?
I mean, they had a lot of power. So if they
guess.
wanted to see Casey, this little woman with no money and no pedigree is not going to stop me from seeing my daughter.
Yeah.
So, and maybe at that age she also doesn't realise how shit of a person. I mean, but she does, because she finds the ball of cocaine, doesn't she, and the Polaroids. Yeah. Anyway.
So she stays with him for a few months because he was just not doing well, and then eventually she moves. And I hope to dear God she used that 250k for something good, like decent.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit mad now that her granddad's dead. That's all she's gonna get.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's why she has to do this and pray that they make movies out of it so she can get the money up.
All right. So Casey says that she went to a therapist after this and she started to remember things she'd suppressed. So at one party, her dad asks her to hold a phone book to the side of her head, and then he shoots. And then she literally runs to like a closet and just hides for the rest of the day. Like, can you imagine?
Like, and home is supposed to be safe. Like, home is supposed to be safe. Like, home is supposed to be where you go and then the world has been shit, but you know you can come back here and everything's fine. Right, but...
Yeah. So she starts to remember being choked and sexually abused by her dad. And basically she goes to her mom to verify, like, did this actually happen? And her mom is like, yeah, like, it did happen. Which is just, again, wild. It's sad. It's unfortunate. And this is why sometimes all that glitters isn't gold. Like, you marry someone who's rich and powerful, or from a rich and powerful family, you think, yeah, like, we're going to have a great life. But
so
inside, there's 7 different
and it's
types
like, I
of
get,
crazy.
like, you know, you don't always have to choose. Like, there should be the chance to be rich and happy and fulfilled, yeah? But, like, I honestly, like, this kind of life, what they were living behind the scenes is not worth the money that they have. Like, you have to think of it like, if somebody paid you however much that family had, would you then endure the things that Casey's been through? Absolutely not. No. It's not worth it.
No, not in any shape or form. So Julian died 5 years after his dad, which is like, just rest. The evil you've actually done is enough. Like, actually just rest. And I wasn't really surprised. Like, if he was only given 500,000 at the rate in which he was living, he probably went through that in 2 weeks.
Quickly.
So he probably died in penury, if I'm being quite frank. We're back to Courtney now, because that's how this documentary is. It's just jumpy. From one timeline to another.
But I think what they're trying to do is like show like, oh, see, look at the similarities. But it just, I don't know. I think it should, I don't know. I just don't think it should have been like, this documentary about the family should have come out ages ago when people started to know about it. And then there should have been a separate documentary about Army and his nonsense and his crimes, rather. Yeah. And then it's like, if you want to reference that other documentary, then fine, do that. But trying to conflate them into one documentary, I think that is what I have issue with. But hey ho, who am I? I'm just a girl on the internet.
So she speaks to Army's girlfriend Paige, and they realized that they had a mirror image relationship. They went to the same. He took them to the same hotels, called them the same names. Motel. It was the same pattern.
You're a millionaire. You're taking me to a motel,
bro. But it's
hotel,
all that,
motel, Holiday Inn.
It's all that let's be quirky in the desert shit. I'm not here for it. Take me to not Paris, because I'm not. Take me to the Maldives. Like, if you've got that kind of money, take me to the Maldives. Like, so it's everything is a mirror image, you know. And he took Paige to meet his mum really quickly as well. It's just weird. He's a weirdo. His mum's a weirdo. How many babes are you gonna meet? Like, it's all weird.
Yeah, honestly, it's like, warn. I don't know, like maybe it's different because Army's her son, so she doesn't see the evil in him. But like knowing his dad, knowing his granddad, like would you not just tell the girl,
Yeah,
run now or run later, but run at some point.
literally run. But some of these mums don't think their sons can do. That's not a uniquely
Anything.
African trope. Like a lot of these mums don't see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the documentary's kind of like nearing its end. We like Army does that thing that celebs do, where to kind of
It's a PR thing, isn't it?
Yeah, PR. Oh, I'm gonna go to rehab and sort out all my issues. Then he gets a new PR new PR representation, which I don't know why they blurred out the name. Like
Because they showed it. First of all, the blurring was inadequate. You could still see it, and then a couple of scenes later, they showed it.
on the magazine, right?
Maybe they just didn't want to show his bio because it's his bio that they blurred, but then also they showed his @ later. I said, did editing forget, or is
Literally.
it that it was so weird?
It was very weird. So he goes to rehab, and then like TMZ run this story about how some of the rape allegations are a lie, and Gloria Aldridge's like, why did they run that?
Yeah,
when
exactly.
that judgment had never been made. And then because of that, he then checks out of rehab because obviously the court of public opinion is
It has
changing.
changed,
And suddenly he's like delivered from all his sins.
mate.
And this is all the week before that movie comes out, Death on the Nile, that he's in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like creating a buzz about the movie as well. It's kind of like this drama between, I don't know if you've ever ventured to that side of TikTok, but Harry Styles, Olivia Wilde, and
No, I've seen those two names in the same tweet, but
Shia
scrolled on.
LaBeouf. Yeah.
No, what's happening
All
with that?
this, there's all this drama
You're
about
really a Harry
Shia.
Styles fanboy. Wah. Anyway,
No, stop it. Do you know what? I
Go
think it's
ahead.
peer pressure.
Come on, Harry.
Basically Shia LaBeouf was meant to be in this movie that just came out that Olivia Wilde is acting in and producing.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously Shia is like not like all together with it, so
Okay.
she kicks him off the cast. Also the story breaks that she did, which is not expected, but it's happened a few times with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of comes out as if like, oh, he wasn't acting right, so she kicked him off.
Okay.
And then he posts this video of her basically, and she replaces him with Harry Styles,
Okay.
who she's dating, who's like 10 years younger than her.
Okay.
And then like this video basically comes out of her begging Shia LaBeouf like to come back and say, let's work this out, and like slating the other babe that's in the movie. I've forgotten her name.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's just like, yeah, you're bad vibes.
Okay.
And there's all
Olivia's
this
bad
buzz.
vibes.
Yeah. And then everyone's like, can Harry Styles even act? Like, we know he can sing and wear
Oh,
androgynous
so Harry's
clothes.
just collateral damage.
But
caught
bro,
a
so
stray.
it's just all this mess, and they've been trolling like Olivia. Like, it's crazy.
So is the movie out then, or no?
Yes, it's out. So now I actually want to watch it.
See, and that's what they wanted.
Literally, that's that PR. And I actually wanted to watch Death on Now, but like I said, I didn't know all of this stuff was going. I just wanted to watch it because I saw there was someone in it that I was like, oh, I'd watch anything they're in. I can't remember who it was, and it looked good, but I never watched it, and now I'm not gonna go and like give him any more money. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Here goes Julia. Again, I'm not really going to talk a lot about this, but I just felt like saying this because she's really annoying. And she's saying that she does this art stuff about the victims, but it's not. It's just about her and her ego.
It is really weird because it is very much like you're basically trying to show off your art. It's like, do you go on to describe it? I don't know if you even. It's like a screenshot of like of a story that she posts, and then Army like replies to it or something, and it's something to imply that he basically all the things he's been accused of is something to kind of co-sign that, and it's like that. It's put on like a. Imagine like a okay, you know when you're on the underground, yeah, and you have those like adverts on the escalators, and before they were like paper adverts in a frame, but now they're kind of like a screen. Yeah, it was like that, and so the screenshot was on something like that, and that was the art.
I was gonna say you should have just said it was like a Hogwarts picture. We don't fucking.
You know I don't understand those references.
I know, I always forget because like
Girl, remember.
Okay.
So
yeah, it was
so
just
it
annoying.
is very her-centered. It does come across very like Julia, like sis.
Yeah.
This is not
I don't
promo.
know,
I'm surprised that
but
they
this-
didn't say follow me on whatever her at is at the end.
But I think this is just to reiterate that a lot of the victims just didn't want to be part of this documentary, because why she was even part of it, I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't
I don't
flipping
understand, bitch. I don't understand. I don't understand, bitch. I don't understand.
Is this
She only says one thing this documentary that I'm like, yeah, okay, I understand and it needed to be said, but we're not there yet. Or are we? I don't know. You wouldn't have written
You
it.
better say it, because I have like 2 lines more.
So basically, Julia says this thing where she says,
cancel culture is on people's tongues way more than rape culture. And rape culture is a much bigger issue. And cancel culture wouldn't exist if rape culture wasn't such a big issue.
And I agree with her, but she's not like, she wasn't her number third was not social commentator, like.
yeah,
so,
the messenger, it was good message, wrong messenger.
yeah.
But no, I agreed with that, and I was like, cancel culture is more than rape culture. You know, if someone says something bad or whatever, fine. But like, it's very intertwined, and it's like we're more concerned about the fact that he's getting cancelled when we should just be concerned about the fact that he's raping people. Because if he wasn't raping people, he wouldn't be getting cancelled. His movies would still be flopping, I suspect, but it wouldn't be because he's been quote unquote cancelled. And I honestly don't believe you can cancel anyone. Like, you can decide you don't want to partake in what this person does or what they put out, that's fine, but like, give it enough time, let the earth go around the sun a couple times, and everyone's gonna be.
Well, there's a certain singer that his name would rhyme with Q Welly. I think he's been cancelled.
Hugh Welly. What would you just say? Do you know what?
That's a flippant. He's a trigger all on his own.
Yeah, no, you're right. No, yeah.
He triggers me, and I'm not a victim.
He's in jail, so like, what music is he gonna make from there?
I guess.
But I do think there is sort of and it could just be, as in your own person. I'm sure there are people out there who are still like,
yeah, there are aunties that will never let him go.
Music,
yeah.
But like, in my general circle, and the people that I'm around, I don't really see them listening or referencing or anything like that. But that doesn't mean that he's cancelled. Like, people are still going to listen to his music.
I guess.
People are still going to step in the name of love at their weddings.
Did you see the whole Tiffany Haddish thing? Speaking of weirdo.
Do you know what? Do you know what?
I'm so happy this has come out, because she's flipping weirdo.
Clubhouse.
Like, yes.
Listen,
I've
from
been
then
waiting
I said
for her
something in the milk ain't
downfall.
clean.
I literally said I've been waiting, and do you know what? It's so unfortunate that Common dated her, because my sister and I were like, I've always loved Common. Like, I've always felt that he was.
I didn't understand, but then that had me looking at Common sideways. I was like,
exactly.
Where is your quality control?
Exactly. I thought you were this kind of guy, but really, you're not.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
I hope this is the end of her. I don't want to ever see her about.
There was even a clip that came out of she was doing an interview with Marlon Wayans. Did you see it? Basically saying like, oh, like, how come you guys have, like, the Wayans family, how come you guys have never cast me for any of your movies? Like, you even put in the script, like, the person you're looking for, like, a Tiffany Haddish type, and I'm Tiffany Haddish, like, why wouldn't you hire me? And he basically said, like, you're immature and you're not funny. Not even that she's not funny, he basically said, like, you're immature. Like, he was like, you just do the most, like, you're just doing the most. It's not every day, like, huh?
That's a good.
Yeah, that's what he said to her. Like, I'll send you the video if I can find it. In a
roundabout
way. And I was
say?
like, Marlon Wayans, you could see her face was just kind of like, oh shit, like, because he was like, literally, he looked at her like, are you really want to have this conversation now here? Okay. And Marlon Wayans is telling you that you're immature. Like, I mean, I'm not saying he's immature. I don't know him. I guess the roles that he has played in the past have been very like slapstick humor kind of thing. But like, as a family, as a production family, like, them are not on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you don't like their genre of movies or whatever, that's fine. But
they do their shit and they're on it.
But they do their shit, yeah, exactly. So for them to be like, listen, you do too much, because it has to be. And he basically said she wasn't professional, which it doesn't seem like she is. And then they brought back that clip of that time when she was on the red carpet, and then the woman
Met Gala with
the
fried
white woman,
chicken.
and she was like, oh, I like your costume. She's like, it's not a costume, darling, it's a dress. It's custom Dolce. And I was like, it's Dolce and Gabbana that you're really standing up for right now, okay? And she's like, it's not and I remember seeing that and thinking like, I
don't see what the problem is,
because she's doing
I kept reading up like pieces to see if I could understand what the problem was with that, and I just didn't get it.
Because it's a costume. It's not like she was wearing like Ashwebi or Ankara, and they were like, oh, your costume. And even then, I could forgive someone for saying costume, because to them, like, it's a costume. Do you know what I mean? They don't know that it's traditional wear.
Yeah.
But in this case, it wasn't even that. Like, it was some ugly Dolce & Gabbana dress that you're wearing, and you're just doing the most. And this is why sometimes people don't take black causes seriously, because you're trying. Did you see that woman that was like, that video of Drew Barrymore dancing in the rain, and she was talking about how,
oh my god, this is
white
white oppression.
Black women
yeah.
I was like, we have to stop.
We actually have to stop.
I was like, we have to stop. Because when there are real issues,
they're not going to listen to us.
Seriously.
They'll come and say, these niggas again. These
I was like,
niggas
Drew Barrymore
again.
is literally frolicking in the rain. It's a problem.
literally, just let her. That's probably the only shower she's gonna get. Like, let her live her life.
Like, mind your business. Why? And you have to look within and think, why does this bother me so much? When people come out on the internet and start chatting like this, you have to look back and think, what is it about this situation, that makes me like have a visceral? I have to say something about this. And I have to say it now.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, it's not necessary.
It's not necessary.
And that in particular made no sense. But Tiffany,
all.
and even that Aries Spear guy that was chatting about Lizzo, I was just like, listen, you of all people, you need to shut the fuck up.
I literally, sometimes it's just good to sit back. Your enemies will be handled.
They'll destroy themselves. And then apparently she said that the genocide that's happening in Ethiopia, like, it's not real. She's like, I haven't seen any bodies or stuff. Just
who said that?
Tiffany Haddish.
But she's Ethiopian, isn't
she's
she?
Eritrean, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
No, because the reason I'm saying that is it's wild to if I thought she was Ethiopian, but it's wild to say that about your own people. It's like me saying, Biafra never happened because I never saw a body. Like, are you dumb? Like,
I'm just like, literally, like you said, from when she did that thing to the doctor on Clubhouse, I said, I'm praying on her downfall.
I'd been praying.
And the thing is, honestly, I don't have to pray on her downfall. I don't have to waste prayers like that. But she did it to herself.
Yeah.
She did it to herself.
If you leave snakes, they will bite themselves. Isn't there like some thing like that? If there's not, I just made it up.
Amen. If you leave snakes, they'll bite themselves.
If you leave them, they will bite themselves. I can't wait to tell that to my kids. Oh my God, they're gonna hate.
If you leave snakes, they will do what? They will bite themselves.
Bite themselves.
So
what did mommy tell you? They'll come to us like, oh, Auntie PD, Mummy said if you leave snakes, they'll bite themselves. Don't worry.
And then this is what happens. In 150 years, they'll say, and wise women once said, if you leave snakes, they will bite themselves.
Not knowing I was the wise woman.
You're the wise woman, boy.
No, I'm going to start saying that. I'm 100% sure. Like, nobody else has ever said that. So that's my new thing.
Same.
If you leave snakes,
I'm gonna tweet
they'll
it.
bite themselves.
I'm going to tweet it right now.
Nah, but yeah, it's all sorts of messed up. I don't even know how we got here, but yeah. So basically now we see, we learned that Army has super fans called Charmies who attack and harass victims. And you know what, before, like when I was like watching this, I was like, I don't even really know who this guy is. So what super fans is he having? But then I realized I don't think they're fans of Armand Hammer like him.
Yeah.
I think they're fans of like the misogyny and rape culture, and because he is like the poster boy
for that.
So they Whoa. I think I just had a brain malfunction. They therefore become fans of him. I don't even think that they really care for his work or who he is.
I agree with that. And I also think that sometimes, this is what I was trying to say last episode, but I think I misspoke. I think that they're fans of the characters that people play.
Yeah.
So they loved The Social Network. That's their favourite movie. He played the Winklevoss twins, whatever he played, and they love that character. And like, they look at him and they see that. Right? And then they just think, I'm going to defend this man with my life. Like, it's not about him as Armand Hammer.
Yeah.
Armand Hammer.
I can't stop saying it because before I was saying Armand. Like, Armand.
Armand.
Now it's like Armand Hammer.
Like, Armand Hammer. That's so
no, but this is why when I'm sorry to say this because I know we've got some white listeners, but when white people laugh at like ethnic names, it's actually funny to me because our names are rich in meaning. Like, if you ask me what my name means,
love like African names.
All my names,
my name means something.
Let's forget like the English name that my dad gave me when he was trying to assimilate.
Girl, I still can't believe it.
When you ask us what our names mean, like when my grandpa named me, that name, like our names mean something. They're rich. Some of our names are blessings on their own.
Yeah, and like every time they're calling you, they're speaking life.
Speaking life into your like life. And then you people be calling your kids. What did Elon Musk call his kid? AEX12 or
yeah. It said B equals what's it? E equals MC squared.
Not Mariah. Flipping Nicolas Cage, I think it was that called his kid Pilot Inspector. What are you speaking into your kid's life?
Yeah, but he'll
that
become
they
a pilot
will
inspector.
inspect pilot. Okay.
What don't you get?
So sorry, my binu. Don't be angry. Don't be annoyed. Oh my god. So listen, this is getting to an end now. Casey and Courtney meet for the first time. They talk about the abuse and just needing to be open and talk about it, and this was just not necessary. Casey receives a letter from Michael and she reads a bit on it. I'll wrap it up for you quickly.
Amen.
Wrap
it up then.
The letter is basically calling her a liar and telling her that he'll sue her for all she's got, which can't be much at this stage if she doesn't stop talking. And she's basically saying, I refuse to be silenced. And then we see her walking off on the beach. And it's weird that it ended with her because she's not one of Army's victims.
Exactly.
So
and
what
this
is this documentary about?
This is what I mean. Like, you should have just made the documentary you wanted to make and left the victims out of it. That should have been done by someone who had the capacity to do it.
Honestly, like, what is all this about? And also, I thought his name was Arnie Hammer.
No, it's Army. Yeah, I clocked when I was editing the last episode. I said, wait.
Did I say it?
I edited the end to it.
Did I say it on the last episode?
You said Arnie a couple of times.
Because in my head,
switched to Army.
Yeah, because in my head it's like, first of all, Army is like, do you want to fight for the Royal Marines? Join the Air Forces. Join the Air Force now, or whatever. You know that that Army advert you keep seeing that's like, oh, make your life better. Yeah. Don't you see that advert? Yeah, whatever. So that's what I'm thinking when I think Army, and then I'm like, it must be Arnie because Arnold, and then it's like, oh no, it's Armand. Like, what is going now? It's Armand Hammer. Like, what is going on?
It's too much.
My brain is bending to a pretzel.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Guys, that's us done.
Okay,
no, my verdict. Obviously, watch it if you want, like, but
watch it if you want, but like, we've saved you time.
We've saved you a lot of time. It's just we've saved you a lot of time.
Stop
trying to make fetch happen.
So, but now it's time for
the real crime. I think was the beard.
Our segment where we focus on something during the documentary that may not be criminal, but we definitely consider to be a crime. Mine is Charmies. The name, the group.
It's like Prince Charming. It's like literally the evil Prince Charming from Shrek. That's what it's giving.
Mate.
Can you imagine being bullied by the Charmies? Like, are you dumb?
Are you alright? Is everything okay?
Literally,
it's because it's the internet. Come see me in real life.
Come see me in real life. You ain't about that life.
Literally.
Come to my hood.
Have you got one?
Suburban area.
Hood, you know. Girl, bye.
My one is $250,000.
Yeah.
Because if you convert that to pounds, that couldn't even really buy you a house. So
not in London.
That is crazy.
It's a flat, maybe. You still have to top it up.
Honestly, you do have to top it up.
And you wouldn't be in zone 1. You'd be like in zone 8.
Okay. I feel like if you're a millionaire and you're divvying up your will, leave people enough money to buy a property. Once you have one property that you can buy cash down, you're set good for like, you're on your way to being a millionaire on your own. I've set you up, but you can't be leaving people money where they need to top it up and still maybe get a mortgage to buy a house.
When you have the means. When you have such means. It's crazy.
No, I guess it's because Casey was supposed to marry a rich socialite from the opposing family or whatever.
And she flopped. She fumbled her bag. Oh. Yeah.
But yeah, I say all this to say, I don't know, man. I'm not working for my grandkids. I'm working for me. So
I mean, I want my grandkids to live a little. You know,
y'all are gonna work like I did.
No, girl. You know, if you leave a snake,
if you leave snakes,
they'll bite
themselves.
And that's on period.
That is on motherfucking period.
I just clocked. We haven't discussed what we're doing next.
Yeah, I was going to ask you.
It's going to be a surprise. I'll put a trailer of something at the end and then take it from the follow us on Twitter or Instagram, and then we'll put down what we're doing if you want to watch it before. I know some people like to do that. But in the meantime, between time, find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, 2 Girls 1 Doc, and then on TikTok, 2 Girls 1 Doc podcast. We've been getting some reviews, which is nice. So if you're still here at this point, send us a review. You can email us, you can tweet us, whatever. Just let us know what you think about the podcast, good or bad. But I can't imagine it'd be bad. You guys have taste.
Do people not email anymore? I feel like I just don't get emails.
No, I got an email the other day.
Okay.
About a suggestion, You can send suggestions as well. You can send suggestions as well. Share this with someone. Share this with many people. If you liked it, they might like it too. And it just means that then more people are listening and their lives are just better, you know?
And please do not call your kid Armand. It doesn't matter what your surname is, just don't.
But then I'm like, is that even their real surname? Or did you just decide that Hammer was going to be the surname? I don't get that.
No. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, you know.
Because what if your surname's like Coq? Like, you know, French people look Coq.
Oh, yeah, like
so Armand Coq.
Yeah,
that is a misfortunate name.
But that's what I'm saying. Say, for example, you change your name now. Say you change your surname to Bad Bitch, with a hyphen, Enough generations.
Phoebe Banana Hammock.
Billy Bad Bitch. Enough generations down the line, that would just be the surname Bad Bitch, and it wouldn't be like, oh, my great 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 grandma changed it. It would just be that's just the name. So maybe I don't know.
Yeah. gives me a thought.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks guys for listening. We appreciate you, and we're glad you enjoy it. And we're gonna go now.
All right then.
I'm gonna put a documentary that we're doing next. We're gonna discuss that real quick right now, and then we'll see you next. Oh, there's not gonna be an episode on Sunday. The next episode is out on the 18th. Just so we're clear.
So you know.
But of course, you can always go back to other ones if you miss our beautiful voices. Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye guys. Bye.
We were ordinary women trying to save women's lives.
But we were criminals. We were felons. For most of the nation, in 72, abortion was illegal.
We had to go underground.
The woman would be given the address to the front.
It was probably obvious to neighbors what was going on.
We came to the surface from other things, the anti-war movement, the civil rights movement.
You couldn't not pay attention to what was going on.
Fetal death is murder.
You could not work as a pregnant woman. If you weren't married, you were out of luck.
They were terrible situations.
The septic abortion word was full every day.
Women did awful things.
They were literally dying because they were women.
So we thought we can be of use. I said, we could use my phone, but change it so that they don't ask for Eleanor. How about Jane? Nobody's called Jane anymore.
We had the phone numbers on bulletin boards around Chicago. Pregnant, call Jane.
The clientele included daughters, wives, mistresses of police, state's attorney, judges.
It dawned on me how big an issue this was.
Jane was an outrageous undertaking by a lot of smart women.
I was not there to pass judgment.
I knew there were women like me.
Under the radar of the Chicago Mafia and police department.
We were all being watched.
The phone rings. A man says, we know where you are.
There were 11 counts of conspiracy to commit abortion, 110 years for each of us. So that's a long time.
That might have ended Jane right then and there.
I couldn't see myself sitting on the sidelines.
We were building a new world, one woman at a time.
Sometimes you have to stand up to illegitimate authority, and sometimes there are unjust laws that need to be challenged.